Welcome back to the Error Coins Value Information today. We're diving into one of Britain's most fascinating and collectible coins, the United Kingdom 2 shillings, also known as the florin. This coin has an incredible history, rare varieties, and stunning designs that make it a top choice for collectors worldwide. In this video, we'll uncover the top 5 most valuable UK 2 shilling coins in different conditions, explore why they're so rare, and reveal how much they've sold for in the auction market, often fetching big money in dollars. So, let's get started. First up, we're going to explore a remarkable piece of British coinage, the United Kingdom 2 shillings from the year 1947, in very fine condition. This coin may seem like just another piece of post-war currency, but in reality, it holds a special place in numismatic history. With its rarity, historical background, and rising demand among collectors, the 1947 2 shillings coin is one of those hidden gems that can fetch a surprisingly big value in the auction market, especially when priced in dollars. The 2 shillings coin, also known as a florin, was first introduced in the mid-19th century as part of Britain's gradual move towards decimalization. By the time the 1947 issue was struck, Britain had just come out of World War II and was still struggling with economic hardships. One of the most significant changes that year was the removal of silver from circulating coinage. Prior to 1947, British 2 shillings contained 50% silver. However, due to financial strain and the need for cost-effective metals, the Royal Mint transitioned to a copper-nickel alloy. This decision marked the end of an era, making the 1947 2 shillings the very first issue in this new, non-silver composition. The 1947 2 shillings coin features King George VI on the obverse. His left-facing portrait, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget, is bold and commanding, representing Britain's stability after the turmoil of war. On the reverse, the coin showcases the crowned Tudor rose flanked by a Scottish thistle and an Irish shamrock, beautifully symbolizing unity across the United Kingdom. Surrounding the design is the inscription FID Def INDIMP, which translates to Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. What makes this particularly interesting is that, even though India gained independence that very year, the older imperial titles were still present on the coin, creating a fascinating historical overlap. While millions of 2 shillings were minted in 1947, finding them today in very fine condition or better is not as common as one might think. Many coins were heavily circulated, worn down, or lost over decades of daily use. Collectors especially value the 1947 issue because it represents the very first year of the new copper-nickel era. That transitional significance gives it a unique edge over later dates. Combine this with the historical backdrop of post-war Britain, and you have a coin that's always in demand among both British collectors and international enthusiasts. So, what is the 1947 2 shillings coin worth in very fine condition today? Generally, in lower circulated states, this coin may only fetch a few dollars. However, once you move into very fine condition, the value starts to rise. Collectors appreciate sharp details on the king's portrait, visible lettering, and a clear floral reverse design. On auction sites and coin fairs, these coins can bring in anywhere from $15,000 depending on eye appeal and condition. Rare examples in extremely fine or almost uncirculated grades have even sold for higher, pushing into the $35,000 range. While not every piece will sell for a fortune, the right condition paired with strong collector demand can definitely bring in impressive results in today's market. If you're looking to add a 1947 2 shillings coin to your collection, here are a few things to keep in mind. First, always examine the condition carefully. Coins in very fine or better grades are far more desirable than worn-out examples. Second, look for even toning and minimal scratches, as these details often increase collector interest. Third, buy from reputable dealers, certified auctions, or trusted marketplaces to avoid counterfeits or misattributed coins. Finally, remember that coins like this don't just represent monetary value. They are pieces of history. Holding a 1947 florin is like holding a tangible reminder of Britain's post-war recovery and its transition into modern coinage. The United Kingdom 2 shillings of 1947 is more than just a piece of metal. It is a historical marker, a collector's treasure, and a valuable addition to any numismatic collection. With its shift away from silver, its link to King George VI, and its enduring symbolism, this coin continues to attract attention in the auction market and can fetch significant value in dollars when found in higher conditions. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey, the 1947 2 shillings is a coin worth seeking out. Next up, we're diving into a truly fascinating piece of British coinage history, the United Kingdom 2 shilling coin from 1950, also known as the florin. This coin, when found in extra fine condition, is considered a rare and desirable treasure among collectors. Not only does it carry historical importance, but it has also gained strong demand in today's auction market, with prices reaching impressive values in dollars. So, let's explore what makes the 1952 shilling coin such a standout piece in numismatics. The 2 shilling coin, or florin, has a long tradition in British coinage, first introduced in 1849 as an early attempt at decimalization. By 1950, the coin was already a well-established denomination, worth 1/10 of a pound sterling. The 1950 issue was struck during the reign of King George VI, who had been on the throne since 1936. This period in British history was marked by post-war recovery, and coinage from these years reflects both the economic conditions and the changes in metal composition. Unlike earlier silver issues, the 1952 shilling was made of copper-nickel, as Britain had already transitioned away from silver coinage in 1947. Despite its non-silver composition, the 1950 coin has grown in importance due to its age, scarcity, and high collector demand. The obverse of the 1952 shilling coin features the left-facing portrait of King George VI, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget. His dignified portrait is surrounded by the Latin inscription, George's 6th Day Gra. Brit. OMN. Rex. On the reverse, the design by Kruger Gray displays a crowned Tudor rose flanked by a Scottish thistle and an Irish shamrock, symbolizing the unity of the United Kingdom. The words FID Def 2 Shillings 1950 encircle the design. Measuring 28.5 millimeters in diameter and struck in copper-nickel, the coin has a distinctive weight and appearance that makes it easily recognizable. Coins preserved in extra-fine condition show clear details of the king's portrait and sharp definition of the floral emblems, making them particularly attractive to serious collectors. Although millions of 2 shilling coins were minted during the reign of George VI, high-grade survivors from 1950 are not common. Many of these coins were heavily circulated, resulting in significant wear over time. As a result, coins that remain in extra fine or better condition are considered rare. Collectors specifically seek out these well-preserved pieces because they represent an important transition period in British coinage, moving away from silver issues to more practical alloys. Demand for the 1952 shilling has risen in recent years, fueled by the nostalgia of collectors who admire the artistry of George VI coinage and the historical significance of the post-war era. When it comes to value, the 1950 United Kingdom 2 shilling coin in average circulated condition may not fetch a very high price. However, in extra fine condition and above, the value increases dramatically at auctions. Depending on the level of preservation, sharpness of detail, and overall eye appeal, these coins can sell for anywhere between $36,500 in today's collector market. In rare instances, exceptionally preserved or almost uncirculated examples have been known to exceed these ranges, especially when bidders compete for top-quality pieces. This makes the 1952 shilling an exciting coin for both entry-level and advanced collectors. If you're interested in adding a 1952 shilling coin to your collection, condition should be your top priority. Look for coins graded extra fine or higher, where the portrait of King George VI remains sharp and the reverse floral design is fully detailed. It's always recommended to purchase from reputable dealers or trusted auction houses to ensure authenticity and avoid counterfeits. Another tip is to carefully store your coin in a protective holder to prevent further wear and tarnish. And remember, even if you find a coin in slightly lower grade, it can still hold great historical and sentimental value. But for investment potential, higher grade examples are always the best choice. The United Kingdom 2 shilling coin of 1950 stands as a timeless collectible that captures both the artistry and history of the mid-20th century. With its striking portrait of King George VI, symbolic floral reverse, and rarity in extra fine condition, it continues to captivate collectors around the world. Its rising auction values in dollars prove that even non-silver coins can achieve significant worth when they are rare and in high demand. So, if you come across a 1952 shilling coin in superb condition, you might just be holding a small but valuable piece of British numismatic history. Next up, we're diving into the fascinating world of British coinage, focusing on a truly remarkable piece. The United Kingdom 2 shilling coin from 1949. Though at first glance it might look like just another mid-20th century coin, this particular piece carries historical weight, unique features, and surprising collector value in today's auction market, especially when found in fine condition. Stay tuned as we uncover the story, rarity, and real dollar value of this sought-after coin. The 2 shilling coin, often called a florin, had been part of British currency since 1849, originally introduced under Queen Victoria. By 1949, the coin was still circulating widely across post-war Britain during the reign of King George VI. This period was marked by recovery after World War II, where economic rebuilding was underway, and coinage played a vital role in everyday trade. The 1949 issue is notable because it was struck during a transitional time in British coinage history. Unlike the pre-1947 versions which contained silver, the 1949 2 shilling was minted entirely in copper nickel, reflecting the post-war shift to more affordable metals. On the obverse of the 1949 2 shilling, you'll find the portrait of King George VI, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget. His left-facing profile is detailed with the Latin inscription Georgives 6D, G, BR, OMN, REX, meaning George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays the Tudor rose at the center, surrounded by thistles, shamrocks, and leaks a beautiful representation of the United Kingdom's four nations. The outer legend reads, FID Def 2 shillings 1949, confirming both its denomination and year of minting. This combination of intricate floral symbols and the king's portrait makes it a standout design among British mid-century coins. While millions of 2 shilling coins were struck in 1949, finding examples in collectible condition today is not as easy as it sounds. Everyday use and circulation wore most of these coins down considerably. Fine condition pieces, those that still retain much of their detail despite moderate wear, are becoming harder to source, particularly as collectors seek complete sets of King George VI coinage. Furthermore, since this was one of the earlier post-silver issues, it attracts interest from both historical collectors and those fascinated by Britain's changing coinage metals. Its rarity in preserved states continues to drive up demand in auctions. So, what is the 1949 United Kingdom 2 shilling worth today? In circulated grades, such as fine condition, these coins generally sell for around $25,000, depending on appearance and demand. However, in higher grades such as extremely fine or uncirculated, the value can climb significantly, reaching $40,000 or more at auctions. Rare varieties or exceptionally well-struck examples have even been known to push prices higher when collectors compete fiercely for ownership. It's a great example of how even non-silver coins from the mid-20th century can still carry surprising market value today. If you're interested in adding a 1949 2 shilling to your collection, here are a few tips. First, always check the condition carefully. Coins with clear details on the king's portrait and sharp floral symbols on the reverse are more desirable. Second, consider storage. Keep your coins in protective holders to avoid further wear and tarnishing. Third, keep an eye on reputable auction sites and coin fairs, where fine and higher grade examples often appear. Lastly, do your research and compare prices before purchasing, as values can vary depending on the seller and demand at the time. The United Kingdom 1949 2 shilling coin may no longer hold silver, but it carries immense historical charm, intricate design, and a steady collector demand that ensures its continued place in numismatic history. In fine condition, it remains affordable for most collectors, yet its value at auction can climb, making it a rewarding addition to any collection. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced collector, this coin is a reminder that even small pieces of history can hold big significance. Next up, we are exploring a truly remarkable piece of British coinage history, the United Kingdom 2 shillings coin from 1951. Known for its elegance and historical value, this coin in very fine condition is considered rare and highly desirable in today's auction market. If you are passionate about numismatics or simply want to know which coins could be hiding a fortune in your collection, then stay tuned, because this 1951 2 shillings is a piece you won't want to miss. The 2 shillings coin, also commonly called the florin, was first introduced in 1849 as part of Britain's journey toward decimalization. By the time we reached 1951, the 2 shillings coin had become a standard part of British currency, circulating widely across the nation. The 1951 issue was struck during the reign of King George VI, a time when the United Kingdom was still recovering from the Second World War. The economy was rebuilding, and coins such as the 2 shillings were essential for everyday transactions. This particular year stands out because it was a low mintage compared to other post-war years, and coins that have survived in very fine condition are increasingly rare to find. The 1951 United Kingdom 2 shillings coin carries the dignified portrait of King George VI on the obverse. Designed by the talented Thomas Humphrey Paget, the king's profile is instantly recognizable with his regal expression. On the reverse side, the design features the crowned Tudor rose flanked by a Scottish thistle, an Irish shamrock, and an English rose, all symbolic of the unity of the United Kingdom. The lettering FID def, meaning Defender of the Faith, along with the year 1951, circles the coin. Struck in copper-nickel after the phasing out of silver coinage in 1947, the coin weighs 11.3 grams and measures 28.5 millimeters in diameter. While many florins from later years are easier to find, the 1951 issue with crisp detailing and minimal wear is prized among collectors. What makes the 1951 2 shillings especially appealing is its scarcity and higher grades. While millions were produced, most went into circulation and were heavily used, making them difficult to find in better preserved states. Coins in very fine condition display clear details, with most of the king's features and the reverse design visible, but showing light wear. Collectors actively seek out this coin, particularly those who are building complete King George VI collections or specializing in post-war British coinage. The rarity is further enhanced by the fact that by the mid-20th century, copper-nickel coins were not often saved, unlike their silver predecessors. In today's auction market, a 1951 United Kingdom 2 shillings coin in very fine condition can fetch impressive prices. On average, collectors can expect this coin to sell between $20,000 depending on the sharpness of its details and overall eye appeal. However, in some cases where the coin shows above-average strike quality, values have climbed even higher at auction. Rarer still, examples in extremely fine or uncirculated condition can bring in significantly more, often surpassing the $35,700 mark. This makes the 1951 2 shillings not just a piece of British history, but also a small treasure for the dedicated numismatist. If you are looking to add the 1951 2 shillings to your collection, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the coin's condition. Carefully check for strong details on King George VI's portrait and the floral reverse design. Avoid coins with heavy scratches, corrosion, or cleaning marks, as these reduce value. Second, consider purchasing from reputable dealers or established auction houses to ensure authenticity. And third, proper storage is key. Keep your coin in a protective holder or coin capsule to prevent further wear and tarnish. Lastly, research recent auction results to stay updated on market trends, as values can rise with collector demand. The 1951 United Kingdom 2 shillings coin in very fine condition is more than just a piece of old change. It is a symbol of Britain's post-war era, royal heritage, and numismatic artistry. With its historical significance, rarity, and growing collector demand, this coin has established itself as a valuable find in today's auction market. Whether you are a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, the 1951 2 shillings is a coin worth keeping an eye on. So, check your old collections, because this little florin might just surprise you with its big value in dollars. Next up, we are exploring one of the most fascinating pieces of British coinage from the mid-20th century, the United Kingdom 2 shilling coin from 1948. This coin, often overlooked in everyday collections, carries a special historical significance and is highly sought after by collectors worldwide. We'll dive into its history, unique design, rarity, and most importantly, its current market value in dollars. So, stay tuned to find out why this seemingly ordinary 2 shilling coin is more valuable than you might think. The 2 shilling coin, also known as a florin, has a rich history dating back to 1849 when it was first introduced under Queen Victoria as an attempt to decimalize the British currency. By 1948, the coin was part of everyday currency in post-war Britain, circulating widely during the reign of King George VI. That year was particularly important because the UK was still recovering from the devastation of World War II, and coins produced during this period reflected not just monetary value, but also resilience and national identity. The 1948 issue is especially interesting because it belongs to the first years after the silver content was completely removed in 1947, marking a major shift in British coinage. The 1948 2 shilling coin was struck in copper-nickel, no longer in silver like its pre-1947 predecessors. On the obverse, it proudly displays the portrait of King George VI, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget, which is instantly recognizable with its regal profile. The reverse features the crowned Tudor rose in the center, flanked by a thistle and shamrock, representing England, Scotland, and Ireland, a true symbol of the unity of the United Kingdom. Around the edges, the inscription reads, FID def 2 shillings 1948, showcasing both the coin's denomination and its date. Despite being a circulation coin, its intricate detailing and bold design have made it stand out among British coinage of the era. While millions of 2 shilling coins were minted in 1948, finding one in good collectible grades today is a challenge. Most of these coins were heavily used in circulation, and as a result, Many examples available today are in worn or poor condition. Coins that have survived in fine or extra fine condition are considered rare because they show fewer signs of wear and retain much of their original detail. Collectors are particularly drawn to this coin not only for its historical context, but also for the fact that it represents the early post-silver era, making it a transitional piece in British numismatics. Now let's talk about what everyone wants to know: the current value of a 1948 United Kingdom 2 shilling coin. In average circulated condition, these coins may only fetch a few dollars. However, in fine condition, values rise significantly, often ranging from $15,560 depending on the overall appearance and preservation. Coins in higher grades, such as extremely fine or about uncirculated, can achieve even more impressive prices, with some examples reaching $50,000 in recent auctions. Collectors in the United States, Canada, and Europe actively bid for these coins, which is why they continue to hold strong market demand today. If you're looking to add a 1948 2 shilling coin to your collection, there are a few things to keep in mind. Always check the condition first. Fine or better grades are the most desirable and will appreciate more in value over time. Pay attention to the detailing of King George VI's portrait and the sharpness of the Tudor rose on the reverse, as these are indicators of quality. Secondly, try to source your coins from reputable dealers or trusted auction platforms to avoid counterfeits or heavily cleaned examples, which can reduce the value significantly. Lastly, consider keeping the coin properly stored in a protective case to preserve its condition, as environmental damage can quickly diminish its worth. The 1948 United Kingdom 2 shilling coin is more than just a piece of old currency. It's a coin that tells the story of post-war Britain, the shift in coinage metal, and the reign of King George VI. With its unique features, rarity in higher grades, and steady demand from collectors, it has secured a respectable place in the world of numismatics. In fine condition, it's already worth much more than its original face value, and its appeal continues to grow in the auction market. So if you happen to come across one of these gems in your collection or pocket change, treasure it, because you might just be holding a little piece of British history worth big money in dollars. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin guides and market updates. Until next time, happy collecting.